Good morning. I haven't made a video in quite a long time. Lots been going on, but anyways, hey, I just want to say that I'm noticing a pattern on my social media, and it happened to myself as well. This pattern, at least from the people I know, the men specifically that I know, and I've been having quite a few conversations with people, and there are some females too that are feeling this and going through this. I think this moment that we're having is unique and interesting. And it's a pattern that's noticeable if you start looking at your news feed, or if you're listening to the things your friends are actually saying to them. I think 2024 did something. 2023, maybe it was good for us, maybe it was bad for us, maybe we thought we were doing great. But somehow in 2024, literally after the ball drop, this moment happened. I don't know exactly what the moment is, but it's happening to a lot of us. And this moment is a recognition of our failures, a recognition of the bad things that we have about ourselves, our bad attributes. And we're all seeking somehow at the same time in the same year, not all, but many of us are seeking to better ourselves. So I want to applaud everybody on my social media that is noticing and aware of this. And there's a couple of other things, because this happened to me as well. Is we're not going to be able to make a change unless we change our culture, unless we change our morals and our values, unless we change the very things that surround us that allow us to stay the very way we are. We're not going to be able to change. We can promise we're going to fix something, and we can promise we're going to change, but inherently we won't, because we will turn back to our natural behaviors, and we're not going to get anywhere. We're going to play the cycle over and over and over and over. But I think in 2024 it's different, because there are men that are successful in their professional life. There are men that are successful in their marriage life. And then there's women that are also successful in these things. And then there are people that are not successful in these things. But there's a huge group of us that are all seeking some type of magnificent change. I had my permanent change take place 4 Sundays ago, and I'm glad it took place the way it did. It's unfortunate how it came to intuition, or it came to reality, but it happened is the point. But what's dope for me and my path into that change is God. I don't know if you guys are into God. I hope you guys are. The Lord, this is look at this right there too. Anyway, let's go this way. So the Lord did a lot for me. I came to him in November of 2021, and then he forced me to humble myself. And in that process, how he forced me to humble myself was to serve other people. And this way of service, and then also the type of people I met through him, because of him, his community, his people, his flock, they showed me a community that I never had before. And this community literally taught me everything I needed to know, and I was doing it. I was treating everybody outside of my family the way God would treat people. I was treating myself that way, not all the time, but I was treating people that way. And I'll share personal. My family since 2021 November would be like, "Dad or husband, you're treating everybody this way, but why aren't you treating us this way?" And I would make an excuse because I didn't realize it. I just wasn't simply listening, right? So what I'm getting at is, when those people that are important in your life start telling you these things, they notice the change, they like the change they saw, but you haven't taken that change into your personal life with your personal relationships. So this happened to me from November of 21 through 22 through 23 until this year, and my awakening took place. And I'm glad it did, because it brought me full circle, 360 degrees, right? It brought me all full circle, which is beautiful. And And one of the things I was doing, I was praying to God heavily to be in the year. What do you want from me? What do you want from me? What is my point? What is my service? Because I figured it out all through then, and I wasn't hearing him. But then when I had my awakening moment, I got it. And my awakening moment was take the culture that I have learned and I essentially been in like a boot camp, right? It restructured my brain from how I was as a child into the military. I treated my family, this is for me only, and maybe others too. Maybe you can. I treated my family like they were soldiers. And it's not because I was some super soldier. I wasn't an infantry guy. I wasn't out there doing infantry stuff by any means. Yes, I did go to war, and my first deployment was bad. And yeah, it was scary. In the beginning, you kind of get used to it all, and then it's no longer scary, and then it becomes part of who you are. Those of you that deployed to 216 with me, or deployed with 216 or 610, and we went to Rusty Maya together, you guys understand that. That forever became a part of us. But as my military career carried on, and having a soldier commit suicide really did a number on me, really put me in this like permanent army, permanent sergeant leadership mode for my family and for people that I'm super close with, and the way I talk to them, the way I beat them down and verbally, and the way I build them up. In the military, this is great. In family life, definitely was not good. Anyways, and I always promised, oh, I'll change this, I'll change this, I'll change this. But I never could change it because the Army life, the Army structure was way better and way more beneficial, way more positive than my childhood, my civilian life. So when I got introduced into the Army, because it was so much better, and because that became part of who I was, even after over a decade plus of being out of the military, it stayed who I am. Now, I know there are veterans out there that spent 3 years in the military or whatever years, and they're like, oh, I let go of that a long time ago. Well, that's good. I'm glad you did. I wish I could have. That would have been fucking great. I don't even like to cuss. That would have been freaking great. So that's cool. That's also part of my change. I don't like cussing. I think it's inappropriate. It's immature. It's not intelligent. Anyways, so but there are many of us that are in the military or that are out of the military for whatever amount of time, and the military influenced us in such ways that it became permanently part of us. Not every veteran, but a lot of veterans, and I'm one of those veterans. And I wanted to get rid of it. I knew year after year after year that this isn't good for my family. It's too vocally violent. It's too vocally demanding. It's too protective. I didn't want to lose anybody in my family. I lost a soldier that was way older than me. I was responsible for him, and I lost him, and that did something very, that did some super internal damage, right? It's weird losing a soldier when you're stateside, but he's been to combat so many times and he's never died. Or, I mean, he's survived anyways. Anyways, weird dynamic. But anyways, so the point to this is the awakening. I always promised I would make this change. Oh, I'm going to treat you guys better. And I always failed. And inherently, I was always going to fail because I never found God. I was a Mormon. I loved Freemasonry when I was in it, but it didn't do anything in terms of truly make me a better man. It has some cool stuff, and it has a lot of good people in it. And I did pursue Freemasonry originally to teach me how to be a better man, but inherently it didn't. Even after studying the signs, the symbols, even the stuff that goes esoteric, even after I went on and became Gnostic, I was a practicing Gnostic for a decade, and this is a total self-healing type of lifestyle, esotericism, you name it. It's all about yourself. And I still didn't heal myself. I was doing and I was going to therapy. I was going to VA therapies. I was going to civilian therapies. I was going to all types of therapies for years after year after year. And then this started taking place in 2009. It wasn't until November 2021 where I received an actual healing. He healed me. God brought me home. And God was working on me since the very beginning, of course, but this was the moment. He let me go through all these bad teachings, all these bad experiences in life so that I could see the world for what it really is, see people from the most extreme dynamics that are out there. And he brought me home. He brought me to his church. But not only did he bring me home and bring me to his church and open my heart, He put me on ministries. He put me in volunteer services. He put me on a path that I didn't want to do, to be honest with you guys. I didn't want to be a part of this. I wanted to do something else. But he just kept throwing it at me. And then every time I prayed that I don't want to do it, something would happen and I would end up getting involved with it. And the next thing you know, I'm doing a charity, I'm doing a volunteer service, and I'm making changes. I'm slowly becoming a better person in my behavior and in my thoughts and in my ideologies. Well, it became permanent for me outside of my family. So from November of 1, November 22, November 23, now in 24, I've failed to bring this to my family, and I feel so bad because they would tell me over and over and over again, you're treating people like this. Your standard for people and your compassion to them are like this, but you're treating us down here like this. Man, like that, right? Like Sergeant style. So what I did is, of course, I went into, during my awakening, I went and stayed at the monastery for a handful of days. And I sought some spiritual guidance. And I woke up out of my bed one night, like, boom, what the heck, dude? And it just instantly clicked in my brain. God had put me in a culture starting in November of 2021 to change everything about me and make me full circle, to make me finally be the Kyle that I want to be, not only just to my family, but even to people that are just different than me, and be happier, be more just well-grounded, not so stiff all the time, not so controlling, not so hyper-vigilant, all these things. Anyways, so I wake up out of my bed, boom, and I went to my wife and I went to my family and I made that change. And that change, it's been a month now. It only takes 30 days to make a permanent change, to be honest with you, because then it starts to become routine. It's weird how that works, but it works that way, and I'm the proven fact that it even works with behaviors. So what I'm getting at is I'm also noticing, I was doing this by myself in my own household, but what I'm noticing is a phone call yesterday with a brother, a phone call previously, a couple of brothers I have right now that are going through some changes, and they're all seeking the same change, and everybody's saying the same thing. Well, how do I get this change? I need to make this change, but it's a change that they keep saying they want, but they keep failing year after year after year. Well, I recently found out that there is a theory out there called the Adlerian theory. And this is probably one of the best things outside of what God did for me. But for those that aren't so much in the flavor of God, Adlerian theory exposes culture. Our cultures are what create who we are. Our surroundings and our environments create what we are, the people we involve ourselves with, the type of shows we watch, the type of music we listen to, the type of industry we work in, the people we live with, the people that, it's the whole thing. Everything that creates the very culture that we are, the fabric of that might be stained fabric. And it is our job, if we want to change, to remove that stained fabric, which would be the culture, and seek clean fabric. We need to seek clean fabric. We need to be clean. We need to cleanse ourselves. We need to rid ourselves of the old culture and find a way, find people that replicate what we want to be or what we need to be, and spend a lot of time doing that. It took me from November 21, November 22, November 23, all the way until now, and it came full circle. So I'm grateful for it, and that's the best thing I can tell people. Don't be proud that you've what do I say? I don't know how to say it. Don't be proud that you've temporarily pushed off a problem and failed to make the ultimate change. And we got to stop lying to ourselves, guys. Men and women, people in this generation, we lie and lie and lie to ourselves. And we're more honest with other people than we are ourselves, mostly. For me, I'm pretty squared away when it comes to this because I've been continually seeking change, continually seeking development. I'm always critiquing myself. I'm always analyzing myself. It reminds me of this Martin Luther would go into confession. He would come out and he'd go right back into confession because he had analyzed something else. And I've been doing that for a very long time. And out of the people I know, some are doing things like that also. And I think it's good. And I think when you guys get to the completion point of whatever change you're seeking, you'll be very grateful that you have the ability to continually analyze yourself and seek to make yourself better. For those that don't, you're going to stay in the same freaking spot you're in for the rest of your life. You're going to be 30, you're going to be 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, if you make it that far. But you'll be the same person you were yesterday, doing the same crap you're doing yesterday, making false promises, not pursuing a better personality trait, better behaviors. And if you're involved with drugs, you're going to be doing the same crap, man. If you're a veteran and you're stuck in veteran mode, you're going to be that way for the rest of your life. Is that okay? Yeah, there's a lot of positive reasons to be in veteran mode. But is that actually okay for your behaviors, your mannerisms, and the way you are? As long as you know how to turn veteran mode off and be a human being, connect with other humans, be happy, empathetic, and sympathetic, then yeah, that's good. But if you're a veteran like me that just buckled down and stayed that way, no, that's not good. So my suggestion for everybody is this: seek out the Adlerian theory, developed by Adler, and learn about it. Learn how culture messes with us. We can go into government talk. We can go into all the stuff about how the system purposely has shut down testosterone. It purposely has increased estrogen. Those all matter, by the way. And we can also go into the conversations where there's been scientific projects to purposely destroy entire culture or races by implementing destructive cultures and continually influencing that. Yeah, we can talk about all that. But that's another conversation. This conversation is what will make you better. And what will make you better is surrounding yourself by people that represent a culture or are part of a culture that you can't get. For me, I couldn't have found this culture. Why could I have not found this culture that I found in 21? Because the people I'm surrounded with in every aspect of my life are not part of this culture. If I turn around and I go back to pre-2021, they're not part of this culture. They may have links to this culture that changed me, but they're not part of the culture. These are only temporary, or they may carry a title that says they're part of this culture, but they're truly not part of this culture. There's a saying that we use in this culture, and this is what I'm talking about culture. I'm talking about the culture of God, servant of God, husband, servant husband, father, servant father, all for the service of God. In this culture, there are only few of us that actually get out and serve in charities, serve the homeless, volunteer at the hospitals, help people in the streets. There's only a few of us that actually do that. And how do I know? Because I got stuck in so many positions because there's so much need for help. There's so much need for greatness, and I have the capabilities of providing that, and that's why I kept getting thrown at my doorstep, and that also made me change. But anyways, in these community projects, you start seeing the same people over and over and over again. Why? Because we're the same 10 people. It's always the same 10 people who are out there actually making a difference. The number is greater than 10, but that's usually what it is in the smaller scale. We're the ones out there making a difference. So if I have 1,000 church members, there might be only 200 of us that are actually out there making a difference. Or the same thing with other churches or any other organization. So out of my friends and family, I watch everybody's stuff on social media. It's like my newsfeed. I'm more interested in learning about what my friends are doing rather than what's happening around the world. That's just too much drama. But to be fair, I see more people posting prideful posts about themselves rather than gratitude posts about their family, gratitude posts about their kids, their husbands, their spouses, their wives, the very life that they have. And I very seldom see anything from anybody about posting helping other people. Man, this is destructive to me. It's vital we help those in our community. You might have a lot of money, you might be living good. I have a lot of money and I live really good, but I'm still out there in the trenches helping people. Do I act like them? No. Do I do the things they do? Heck no. But do I help them? Absolutely, guys. There are a few people on my Facebook out of the hundreds that I have on there that do this. We need to truly help people, because not only does the Bible literally say we're judged by our faith and our works, that's one piece, but let's take it away from the Bible for a minute. Helping other people inherently make a change in who we are. And it's a positive change. We see the world at its worst, and we become problem solvers for that, rather than sitting on our butts being pious about our faith, or being pious about our finances, or being pious about what we think is a good family. 9 times out of 10, those pious tendencies are false, and you just keep influencing yourself with falsehoods, but you're not making a difference. You could have a gajillion kids, you could have one kid, you could have a gajillion dollars, you could have $1, but if you're not out there helping the community, you're doing nothing at all. And you're gonna make no change, a positive change, because culture is what affects us. So if we're still smoking dope, if we're doing the weed or all those drugs, right? Or if we're drinking our alcohol all the time, or if we're continually in veteran mode, or if we're piously being judged by our faith but not helping anybody, or creating excuses and why you can't help anybody, you're never going to be a part of the culture that can influence positive culture. You're just going to be sitting there by yourself in your own little world, doing your own little thing. This is where my change came from, and I'm seeing it time and time again. People following these same footsteps that are making those changes as well. And I am noticing a pattern on social media for 2024 that there is a catastrophic amount of people in comparison. I know it's the new year, new you thing, but this one is different. Last year, people weren't being put to the test. This year, people are being put to the test, and they're expressing it, and I think it's great. I think you should express when you're being put to the test. I think you should express when you know you're passing that test, and I think you should also express when you find a small bit of your character that's permanently changed. Why? Because this helps other people see the message and see the change. Not everybody's a whore, not everybody's a prostitute, not everybody's a thought, not everybody's a pimp, not everybody's a drug addict, not everybody's an alcoholic, not everybody's a thug, not everybody's white trash, not everybody's a meth addict. All these bad things. Not everybody's walking around with solo cups, not everybody's homeless, selling dope, not everybody's living off the government in the ghettos. Not everybody has struggling kids. But for some reason, in America, it seems to be that's the culture we push. That's the influence that our movies push, that Netflix pushes, that Hulu pushes, that our most influential musical industry pushes. The most influential musical industry is by far rap. I love rap. And that's what it pushes. It's purposely pushing everybody of every diversity into the slums, and they want you to stay there. Get away from all of that. It doesn't matter what your color is. There is no mandatory this is your culture. There is no mandatory you need to vote this way. Seek God, serve others, and bring that service and new culture into your entire life 360. And I promise you'll see changes that need to be changed. This went way longer. I still need to drink my freaking pre-workout. I'm sitting out here at the gym. I'm going to put this on my YouTube channel, maybe share it on my Facebook. But this is my journal for today. I really do need to get back on journaling. It does help me a lot, and I really love going back for myself and watching this. I have started the journal process right around the November time, and I think I moved it over to videos probably in 2022. So anyways, that's my point. If I do share this on Facebook and you listen through this whole thing, you'll learn that's why on my other Facebook I share all of my charities. I share everything that I can and all my blessings for my kids. And then on this Facebook, I'm using it as a personal, that one's personal too, but this one is more down roots, implementing change. This Facebook is going to be dedicated to behavioral change. If I post it on my Facebook that I created in 2024, the Awakening Facebook post. The other one is charities, volunteer service, religious. So there it is. I hope you guys and women that are seeking change find a new culture. This means new friends. This means pulling away from family members that are freaking toxic. This means pulling away from people that tell you can't do something. And this means pulling away from people that purposely try to create a roadblock simply because they're jealous of what you're doing, but they play it off in a different way. Get rid of them. They're not good for your development. They're not good for your growth. And if you have a man, if you have a spouse that you know can change, and he or she promises they are going to change, and if you have the ability to sit there and wait for that one more failed promise, that means you love that person. So take that person and force them into a community, or put them into a community that can help them learn the new culture, the new way, so they can take that part of their life and make it full circle, right? So that's what I would do, because not everybody's going to be able to find a community like I found. I've moved all around the country for this community, and I found it. Am I staying here? No, I'm not going to stay here. This was a stepping block in my development and in my family's development and all this stuff. And there's a bigger journey out there awaiting us. So anyways, I may post it. I may throw a link on there. Yeah, actually I will, because this is a developmental thing. So anyways, all right, I gotta go lift. Later.